Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Today I want to talk about how well you know your Filipina wife. I found an article I liked, and I will link it for you in the description box. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea for any help I can provide for foreigners interested in a Filipina, or for those who already are. Many of the topics can help anyone. I only scored a 7.5 on this quiz, which you will see is not very good. But that doesn't surprise me, especially when reading the part about how to understand your score. I want to make marriage great again and think most people would be miserable alone. The quiz comes from Psychology Today, and from this article, when you review your answers together, you and your, let's say, your wife, remember that it's your partner who decides whether you earn a point for each answer. Scoring is not the key to this quiz, the conversation is, but here's a possible scoring guide. If you or your partner score 16 plus, 16 plus points, you know your partner very well. And if you scored more than 16 and you've been with your partner for less than 6 months, you're probably a bit intense in your relationship style. Now that's interesting to me when it says probably a little bit intense in your relationship style. At first blush, it would seem great to know someone this well, but if there was some pressure put on the other person to give answers about their life, then that would be forced and probably not good, even though they know the answers. I think it should come out in a relaxed, normal flow of conversation, which includes asking each other icebreakers and the type of questions you can find at the top of lvbts.com. I want to caution here for those looking for a woman overseas to be careful to not go overboard and interrogate her as if you already don't trust her. Yes, there are risks in getting to know each other from so far away, but regular, consistent focus on each other can help you discern how honest the other person is. And you don't have to know everything about her. Obviously, with my low score of 7.5, there are things to learn, and I look forward to doing that. The main emphasis on Love Beyond the Sea is behavior that builds and sustains the relationship, and marriage is my focus, since I believe that is the very best kind of life for most people by far, and I think a lot of people don't know that. So I'm going to be the voice in the wilderness and keep talking about that. Back to the article. If you score 10 to 15 points on these questions, there's about 20 of them, then you know your partner pretty well. In what categories do you know them less well? Maybe the two of you haven't talked much about your childhood experiences, or you shied away from talking about topics related to negative emotions. Aim to learn the answers now. Now, my area where I scored, it says if you score 5 to 9 points, maybe you've only been together a short time. Maybe you don't talk to each other much, or maybe your conversations tend to be of a particular type, like you're both in the same profession and talk mainly about work. That makes sense. Ask yourself now if your personal lives or careers are so demanding that you're not getting a chance to talk and connect. Would it be worth bringing more balance to your relationship? And then it's possible you could even score 0 to 4 points. The good news is there's lots of room for improvement here. So am I alarmed at my score? No, because she was 9,800 miles from me, and we got married on the first visit I took to meet her in the Philippines. I went there for the purpose of meeting her and marrying her, getting to know the family and taking a honeymoon, and then getting right back to work in the United States. And very soon we will be celebrating, it's hard to believe, 6 years of marriage. And that's about all the time I even know her. And this little woman has become my best friend, my favorite place to be, and in my thoughts like she is part of my brain. I concern myself with her present, her future, her families, her emotions, her overall health, and her opportunities and needs. So why these questions that they put on this quiz that you can see? I'll try to link it there at the top of the description box. Well, these questions are designed to tap into a range of positive and negative emotions. And I'll go over the questions in my responses, which ones I got right and which ones I didn't know in just a little bit. The questions about negative emotions and fears, those are included because strong relationships involve being vulnerable with each other. Questions about childhood were included because close couples typically understand the formative experiences that made each other who they are today. And the lighter, more fun questions are included because it's important to have conversations about your positive emotions too. And then they have this note, these questions are designed for people who have been together for several years or more. And we've been married, like I said, 6 years, and I still probably couldn't answer most of them. If your relationship is newer, adjust your expectations accordingly. So first one on the list here was, what's your partner's least favorite body part? I do not know that one. Number 2, when your partner was a child, what did they want to be when they grew up? I don't have any idea of this one either. Not when I took this test, which is probably a year ago, and I still couldn't answer that one. Number 3, I got that one right. Name a country your partner would love to visit. Well, that wasn't too hard because I asked her one time, Hun, this was before our 2nd anniversary, Hun, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be? Well, I didn't say I'd take her, but where would it be? She said Paris, France. I said, great, that's nice to know. Then, shortly after that, I thought, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but maybe we ought to go there. It could be interesting. Well, we did go to Paris, France. It's only, when you go 1 hour flight from Omaha to Detroit and then 8.0 hours. So it's just simply 9 hours of flying and small layover, and you're there. Makes me want to just, go there any particular weekend. It's very expensive there, but really, really nice place to be. I'd like to go again myself to Paris. Now, we also have been to Tokyo. We'd like to go to Singapore, maybe Canada, maybe this year if we can get that trip to the Philippines that we would like. So, the travel part is something that my wife and I have talked about, and it's something I really enjoy, and I'd like to do it again as much as we possibly could. Number 4, did your partner have a nickname as a child, and what was it? Bonus point, did they like the nickname? Well, I kind of can get this one. Maybe I'll give myself a half point, but I won't tell you what it was, but I think I could answer that. The 5th one, which of your partner's aunts or uncles are they closest to? Skip if not applicable. At first I checked this one, but now that I think about it, it was my impression of who they are closest to. I don't think I asked my wife specifically, and in order to qualify for getting a correct answer, they have to agree that you have answered it correctly. Number 6, what disappointment or rejection from your partner's past still stings? I did not answer that one. 7, which of your partner's achievements are they most proud of? Most proud of. I don't know that either, to be honest with you. I could guess. Maybe I could. It's graduating from college. But I don't know because I never come right out and asked that, and I don't think she's ever told me. So a strike on that one. Number 8, what is your partner's least favorite housework task? I don't know. Isa really doesn't complain about doing anything inside of the house or outside of the house. Number 9, name 2 of your partner's grandparents. Bonus point, can you name all their grandparents? We visited them, but I don't remember their names, so I can't do that one either. Number 10, outside of their career, what's something your partner considers themselves, naturally talented at? Now, I gave myself an answer for this one, but I could say, she's mechanically inclined, and she is, but I really haven't asked her what she considers herself good at. So, maybe that's only a half answer because it's obvious. It's something I've observed, but is it something they consider themselves naturally talented at? Probably. I probably should only give myself half a point there. And number 11, what's your partner's favorite smell? Well, I don't know that one either, but hopefully it's my cologne, one of my several colognes. I like the basics, the ones I grew up with. Old Spice, of course, Brute, and there's one called Club Man. And but then favorite smell, that could be a food. It could be fresh air up in a mountain somewhere in the Philippines. I don't know, but I didn't get that one right. I just didn't know. Number 12, I got this one. What's your partner's favorite flavor of ice cream? And that would be like chocolate, Neapolitan. I know she does not like vanilla or chocolate chip. And vanilla, chocolate chip, even chocolate are almost impossible to find anymore at the grocery store. You got so many funky flavors. 13, another one I couldn't answer. What's a personality trait your partner dislikes about themselves and that they share with a parent? I do not know. 14, of all the ways they are able to die, which does your partner fear the most? I don't know. That one either. 15, what type of music does your partner secretly like? What's a musical taste they have that most people wouldn't know they enjoy? I don't know that either. I just know what she likes. Now myself, I've been around a long time, and I grew up in the 60s, and I still remember music from the 50s. Up until about, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago, you could still find some of those 50s and 60s songs playing on some oldies channels, but now not so much anymore. But I did, grow up with those songs, and I kind of liked them. 70s was a great era, but some heavy metal music I like. It's good for the gym. It's good for your, if you're walking and you just want to forget about the pain or the heat or the endurance that you're putting yourself through, and you listen to music like that. I have different types of music I listen for different situations, but it'd be interesting to ask her these questions about me. Number 16, I got this one right, I think. What does your partner typically look forward to most about the weekend? I would say that's sleeping in. 17, who is someone your partner considers to be a mentor or who has been a strong positive influence on their professional development? I knew that one because she talked a lot about this person throughout our marriage. 18, I did not get this one. How do your partner spend their summers as a child? Well, it's a little bit different in the Philippines where it's pretty much always summer. 19, what are your partner's favorite and least favorite aspects of their work? Again, my wife isn't one to complain much, so I was unable to answer this. Just 2 more. Number 20, does your partner consider themselves more like their mother or their father in terms of personality? In what way? That's a good question. I'm going to have to ask my wife, but I don't know the answer. And the last one, 22, what purchase is your partner currently considering? And that one, I don't know. Usually I get surprised by the things my wife buys, and I mean, if it's not expensive, she doesn't have to tell me about it. Otherwise, if it's expensive, we talk about. But I couldn't get that one either. So my score fell in the 5 to 9 point range. Maybe you've only been together a short time. Maybe you don't talk to each other that much. Maybe your conversations tend to be a particular style. And another thing I can add to that is, in our case, my wife is not as talkative as I am, so that's a factor here. And I've never been interested in delving into all these questions, but they are good questions. I mean, we got married so quickly. I proposed on day 18, then we got into the, well, now what do we have to do to get married stage, and paperwork and visa, and what does she have to do to prepare for it, because I was going to go down there as soon as I can. I mean, we met on March 17th. That was the very first time I winked at her, March 17th. And I proposed on day 18, so 17 days later. In 3rd week April, I was in the Philippines. We got married May 10th. So that all happened very quickly. So we kind of bypassed some of those questions, to be honest with you. Back then in 2015, I was so close to getting married, ending a decade's drought long of being single. I figured over time I would learn more about her, and I was committed to her no matter what, so there would be time. And according to these questions, it looks like I still have a lot to learn about my love beyond the sea.